Yeah, no, I haven't never saw that before. I never saw that before.
We're live.
Oh, we are live, folks.
Yeah.
Folks, a very warm welcome to you all, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is a bit of an experimental exercise for us tonight because we don't know how this is going to go or if you're even seeing us. We are on YouTube. We know that. We are live on the Rook This Facebook page. Now, I believe Danny Brosnan is supposed to share the link into the Irish Rugby Banter group. That's what we're trying to achieve. The only thing we are not sure of is where the comments, whether they're going to show up here in front of me or if I'm going to have to read them from the Rook This page. But just bear with us. We'll get there. Anyway, this evening on tonight's edition of Mauls, Balls and All, we have Matt Boland is with us. We have Mike Reedy is with us, and we have Peter Martin is with us. Gentlemen, are we all well in ourselves? The usual greeting I give. How are we all?
Amazing. Super duper. Super duper.
Amazing, right?
We're fucking here, aren't we?
Right. Yes, well, we are here. Yes, that's the main thing. Yes, we are all here, and that's it. Right.
Not
okay.
apparitions.
Actually, if someone is watching, well, we're not apparitions, yes. If someone is watching this in the Irish Rugby Banter group, just put up a test comment. I just want to see what happens. Well, if it pops up, if I can see it here, or if I need to go in. Just anyone, Megan or Gregor, if you're watching.
Just wait.
Danny Brosnan just shared in group. Brilliant. Okay, now Danny, will you tell us, is that in the Rook This page or is that in the Irish Rugby Banter group? You just did that. Matt Boland, Peter is apologies. Yeah, okay, grand job. Thanks, Matt. Brilliant. Okay, right, fuck the audience. Let's go. Now,
I don't see any comments.
No, I can see them here. Hold on here. Look, I can see them here. There's Danny's.
There we go.
See, I don't know.
Just share it in group.
All right, brilliant. All right, and there's. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, folks. Yeah, there you go. That's Matt speaks the truth. Right, gentlemen. Like always, as ever, Megan Augusta says hello. Hi, Megan. Glad you are with us this evening. There you go. Yeah, I don't know why. Claire Devaney. Claire Devaney's out for points. Claire Devaney was supposed to be with us this evening, and she decided to go for points. And she'll probably have a spice bag later as well. Right. Anyway, Claire, how are you? Yeah, I know.
He's been MIA for a long time now, so get your arse back on here, Devaney.
I tell you, Claire, Devo, you're Devo.
Jakey Devaney.
Get your arse back on here, yes. Hold on. And last one before we kick off here. Gregor Galway is a spoofer. Thank you, Gregor.
100%.
No lies here.
Yeah. There you go. That comment is from the Rook This page, not the group. Okay, fair enough. All right, so right.
I don't think he'd be offended anyway if it was.
Well, try, Danny, if you're listening. Try comment from the fucking group, Danny, will you? See what happens. There's another comment in there, sorry. Damn right, I'll have a spice bag. All right, thanks, Claire. Right, anyway, gentlemen, before we go into talking about the games that happened last weekend and the upcoming semi-finals that are happening next weekend, the stories that were making waves in the group. One that kind of, I don't know how legitimate World Rugby or whoever I think it is World Rugby, yeah, will take this. Matt Boland, I'll come to you first. This idea that Qatar are going to bid for the Nations Cup in 2026, they've offered 800 million to finance the first 4 tournaments in this for 800 million in Qatar, a country that, as we all know, has several issues. One being the fucking weather, the heat. Now, I know some of the stadiums are air conditioned. 2 is their despicable human rights record, particularly against women. Now, the roundy ball people didn't care. They had their World Cup there. They have the alcohol ban, but although they surpassed that with the fan zones, etc., etc. Matt, Qatar bidding for the Nations Cup 2026. Is that a good, bad idea, or will World Rugby just grab the money and go, thanks?
They probably will grab the money, but letting Qatar have it, I'd rather shit in my own hand and clap, to be honest with you.
Right.
Simple as. They're not into sport. They're not into drinking. They're not into women. It's fucking too hot. They can get fucked, for as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, and a very eloquent point and well made, Matt. Thank you. Mike Reedy.
I agree with all Matt's sentiments about all issues to do with Qatar. However, our sport is in financial difficulties, and I think finance is needed from somewhere. Now, if it's not going to come from other sources, are we too big and too bold to fucking knock this back and say, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not comfortable with them having any involvement. But however, the world rugby needs to be financed, and where else are we going to get it?
Okay, Peter Martin, any thoughts on this idea of Qatar hosting the Nations Cup for 4 years starting 2026?
I hear where Mike's coming from. There is financial issues in the game, but I would also echo Matt's thoughts on it. Basically, go and take a long walk off a short pier. Like, it's forget about it. Like, at what point, are we going to? Is the whole world of sport full stop going to be in hock to the oil money and the questionable proceeds money, we'll call it, from Qatar and these nations where they don't treat people right? The hell with that. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I have to say I agree with those.
Like rugby has never suffered in the past, really, when it came to finances. It's always come from that group of society where there's always been money. There's always been a few bob there. There's always been the world of finance. It's always more traditionally speaking, it's always been financed by higher earners and corporate groups, corporate finance, lawyers, professional barristers, HR companies and businesses that have money, have deep pockets. So I would say that we don't need it. I'd say that there will be a group of, if finance becomes an issue, there'll be those who'll come in, who've been in the background, will say, over the last couple of years, or who maybe they're not in the background, but they might take a further step forward and perhaps support the game a bit more when it comes to the finances of keeping the game afloat. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Danny Bros says better. Go on, Mike.
I definitely wouldn't be comfortable with them having any involvement, purely because of all their. I mean, the human rights situation is just unacceptable for any normal person, as far as I'm concerned. However, you're basically selling your soul to the fucking devil, aren't you? To the highest bidder, aren't you? Like, golf seems to be going down that route. Like the Football World Cup went down that route, which was an absolute fucking shambles, if we're honest. It went off. It went off fairly okay, but it was shambolic. It was a fucking joke. And I think at least the PGA have stood their ground a little bit, but they're going to sell out as well. They're fucking definitely all the golfers that don't need that money have basically sold their soul, haven't they? To Saudi money, which is sad.
Yeah, I just for the record, I think it's an absolutely atrocious idea, and it should not be entertained. That's just my 2 cents on it. Danny Brosnan says, excuse me, better chance for prop being nice to a scrum half than Qatar getting the big games. Megan Augusta says, can't see many female fans going to Qatar if it does go ahead, which I'd say they'll grab the money. Yep, that's the fear, Megan. All right, Gregor, I would want somewhere else to host it. Yes. Danny says something about the men's version of Women's 15. Founders hope. Megan says, hope they don't take this. Yeah. Okay. Right, gentlemen. We will park that. We will leave that one there. Peter Martin, a subject matter close to your heart, and I know you hate talking about it, But what transpired this week was that the French have come out and said they don't support the 20-minute red card. Does that mean that now it's dead in the water and it's just not going to happen? Because if France don't want it, none of the other 6 nations want it. So France only came out this week and said it. So is that it gone then, hopefully?
I would like to think that it is, but you just don't know until there's kind of like the body that is behind European rugby, inclusive of the 6 nations, or the 6 nations just come out as a whole and make a joint statement at the beginning, maybe perhaps at the beginning of the next February, we'll say. And to come out and make an official statement. They're not going to say it now, obviously, but I would say that would be a strong time to say it, because it'll probably, no doubt, it'll keep rolling on. It'll be dragged out. Certain people of influence, whatever, in world rugby will probably keep the ball hopping on this. But I think that an opportune time, I would suggest, for the 6 nations is to basically make a joint statement on the eve of the competition in 2025, saying, we don't want any part of this, and we will not back any 20-minute red card, and that'd be the end of it.
Yeah, you would hope it would be that straightforward, Pete. Yeah, absolutely. Mike Reedy, is this the end of this whole 20-minute red card thing in your view?
I don't know if it's the end of it, but we seem to have a situation now where it's us versus them, the Southern Hemisphere versus the Northern Hemisphere, and they're making very much a point of this. But tis only really the South Africans and the Kiwis. Australia are saying very little, but they and it's mainly New Zealand, if we're honest, that are in favour of this 20-minute red card. For what reason, I don't know. I mean, I have seen South African supporters say no, that they don't want it, and I think part of this is because they are now involved in the European League, and they don't want maybe to rock the boat as such, or create ruffle. Like they're still trying their best to get into the 6 nations. They're still trying to wangle their way into our competition, which I hope never happens personally. And but it's an absolute joke of a rule or of a fucking law that they're trying to introduce into the game, and they keep on moving the goalposts, which is more bollocks really, because nobody knows what's going on. But no, absolutely not. No 20-minute fucking a red card is a red card. You're off. You're not coming. There's nobody else coming back on to replace you. There's not enough of a deterrent otherwise, and they are leaving. Leaving.
But you know what? You know what though, Mike? What really fucking where this was enhanced or driven from was Sam Cane in the last.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
When he got sent off. Fucking drove the New Zealanders fucking bananas. Anyway,
and you know,
no.
World Rugby have a habit of fucking knee-jerk reaction based on silly things. I mean, there's been some of the laws of the game over the course of time changed. There was one that England didn't know the actual proper laws of the game, and there was, I can't even remember what it was now. It was something daft anyway, and
it was England. It was England against Italy, and the famous. Yeah, that's right. And Dylan Hartley and who was it?
They hadn't a clue what was going on because they didn't know.
Rob Shaw.
It was was it Rob Shaw? Was it one of them? Yeah, they came up to the ref and the ref cam, and the ref was explaining it. They had to explain that.
But
anyway, Matt, is this the end? Sorry, Mike. Mike. Did you finish your point there?
No, you go. No, good.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Matt, is this the end of this ridiculous law that they want to change, the 20-minute red card, because France have come out now and said they want nothing to do with it?
I really fucking hope so, because it's like, if you get a red card, it means it's serious foul play and the player needs to be removed from the pitch, right? And that, generally speaking, gives the other team the edge. But teams that abide by the rules and play to the laws of the game within the match period deserve to have all 15 players on a pitch. So, like, given this 20-minute red card is not enough of a deterrent now for players to go out onto a pitch, single a key player on the opposition, fucking nail him, take him out of the game. Like, how is that fair? So he gets sent off for a red card, but then his mate can come on. Like, they'll have, if they bring this in, they'll have guys specifically in teams to do such things, to take players out of games. And that's not what we want in the game at all.
Well, the day that comes into the game is the day I'll stop watching rugby. It's as simple as
that's
that.
what I'm saying. But that'll give teams an insight to go down that route, to go down that window and target players, take them out of the game. Like it happened to Johnny Sexton a few times where they've targeted him purposely with late hits, that kind of cynical, like professional foul, like cynical play. Do you know what I mean? And having that 20-minute red card will just allow teams to exploit that, and it's wrong. It goes by all the rules of the game, all the laws, so it needs to be fucking binned, and the South Africans and the New Zealanders can just fucking suck it and play by the rules and play lawfully.
Good on you, Matt. You're right, 100%.
Matt, just mic drop. I'll see you later.
Matt, will you yeah. I was going to say, Matt, will you get off the fence and tell us how you really feel for today's sake?
I never sit on the fucking fence. There's no point.
No fences in the
I know you're right, sure.
in the Bowling household.
No, you're not allowed. Kevin O'Hanlon, good evening, Kev. How are you? Rugby has survived for 100 years, only turning pro in the mid-90s. Yeah. Kev O'Hanlon again. Danny speaking facts. Yeah. Gregor Galway said it was James Haskell that was with.
Haskell. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. There is a point there from. Sorry. Megan Augusta says very good point, Matt. There you go. Thanks, and Megan is also doing the mic drop emojis. There you go. Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Kev. Thanks, Danny, for your comments. Now, right, Pete. Another thing I was looking at. I don't know how this is going to be solved. I just wanted to bring it up as a point, highlighting the difference. I was looking at the English, the women's world rankings. Okay, England are just over 6 points clear to the number one. Obviously, they're over 6 points clear to second place. France, I think. No, New Zealand. I can't remember which. It's not New Zealand or France.
New Zealand.
And then I looked. At the men's top 10. 6 points differentiate the top four, nearly 5 teams in the men's ranking. That's how close it is. To be 6 points clear in world rankings, knowing how little points are given for away games, the tier of rugby game you're playing, to be 6 points clear in world rugby rankings is absolutely. Now, it's great for England, but it's fucking ridiculous to try and catch that up over the course of a season or test matches or whatever. Like, that's 3-4 years down the line. I mean, nothing's going to change here. Like, where I just don't get it. I suppose the question I'm trying to ask is, how the hell are the rest of the teams, the women's teams, going to catch England? There needs to be something drastic done to stop this.
Who are you asking?
Pete, Peter Martin.
Sorry.
Myself. Look, I suppose I don't know whether it's a worthwhile exercise, but perhaps they need to look at maybe the scoring and see, is the scoring fair? Does it accurately reflect that there is a significant gap between England and the second place and the rest? Is there an anomaly there that literally England just happened to be, winning the right games, winning them by the right amount? Other than that, it's just basically, well, if the system works, the system works. It's that's the only thing you can do, I think, really. Look, Ireland have improved, as we know, qualified for the World Cup, and there's been a significant turnaround in fortunes in the last 12 months between points points earned and performances. I just stand by what I said. Like, you know, they just need to have a look at the point system and see, is the rankings, the way the top teams are awarded points, is it fair? Is it a genuine, accurate reflection? Or because if it is, well then, you know, the system ain't lying, folks. You know, there is a gap there, and it's going to take time for them for it to be closed.
Yeah. So, would you have a kind of a weighted system that if, say, if a team beats England, they get 2 points, and if England beat the same team, they get 0.85 or something like that, or change the weighting that way, because England are so far.
Yeah, look, there's obviously, and essentially they probably need to look at the coefficients as regards points awarded for victories over top tier, you know, teams in the women's game. They just need to look at it and see, does it accurately reflect, is a win over England by 5 points, you know, worth double that would be if it was over, you know, a team.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's the same ranking, as you know, in the same position and a similar position in world rankings. Just that's all it boils down to is the mathematicians and the analysts when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, Mike Reedy, what do you think of all this? 6 points. England are clear at the top of the world rankings by 6 points, whereas the men's 6 points separate the top 4 or 5 teams.
I think it's just reflective of where England are at the moment, to be honest. I mean, they are that far ahead of everybody else. And I think in the mid-teens, New Zealand men were 4 or 5 points ahead of the next team in the men's. Mightn't have been as much as that, but they were certainly more than 2 or 3 points ahead. And I genuinely think there's nothing, unless we stop fucking England playing, there's nothing can be done. They are genuinely that much better than everybody else, and it's up to the rest of the teams to finance the women's game in their respective countries to try and reduce that gap. Because what do? You can't penalize a team for fucking being the best by a long way of what they do. And let's be honest, if England got their shit together in the men's game, they should probably be able to achieve that kind of ranking as well. Maybe not run away, but they should be better than everybody else. They have a lot more teams at their disposal. They have a lot more players at their disposal. Everything should favour England, but it doesn't. It doesn't seem to work that way. But it is for the women. Now they got ahead of the curve.
The England men's team have a shit fucking coach, though, Mike.
Well, they have, but that's what I mean. They're not getting, like, is the women's coach that much better than any of the women's coaches in any other teams? I don't know. I don't know enough about the hierarchy of the women's game, but England, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, they just, like, they put 88 fucking points to 10 on us a few weeks ago, and then we go and beat Scotland and we beat Wales. Like, they're fucking miles ahead of going by that, and they've put 40 odd points on France. Now, apparently that was a bit of a skewed. I didn't see the game, so the result, the actual final result, didn't reflect the game itself. But they're a long way ahead of the rest of us, as far as from what I can see, anyway. So I don't think there's anything we can.
Matt Boland, what do you think of all this?
Well, look, nothing that the other lads haven't already said or alluded to. Like, England were one of the first teams to go professional in the women's league. You know, France were professional before Wales and Ireland were. You know, so we're a bit back anyway. Other than that, like, you know, as Mike said, I think at one point New Zealand would have been 3, 4, maybe 5 points ahead on the ranking system at some point in their 8 years where they just dominated everybody. They would have been 100% up in the high 90s, I would imagine. They would have been up at 96, 97 at one point. So, like, but you see how different and how close now the men's league is. It definitely wasn't like that at the start of the professional era. So I would imagine, given time, the women league tiering system will tighten up because the players will get better. There'll be more investment. There'll be better coaching. There'll be all that type of thing is to come down the line. I mean, Ireland only went professional last year for the women, so like, I mean, like, they're doing really well considering that fact alone. Do you know what I mean? So England have been professional for a couple of years before that. So I don't know exactly, but I know they were definitely professional before Ireland were anyway. So look, I mean, they just have to.
They were. Yeah.
You know, England are they're the team to beat. Unfortunately for them, the only way is down. You know, they're not going to stay up there forever. So.
Yeah, true. There's a comment there from a viewer, Michael. Hiya, Mark. Up to the others to close the gap. You can't introduce a handicap system into international sports. Yeah, no, I know what you mean, Mark. Yeah. I'm just thinking. My train of thought on this is that if women's rugby needs more investment, but for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you've got one team that consistently runs away with trophies and points and rankings and all that sort of stuff. Are you going to keep people interested, or are people just going to go? I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, it's a good point, Mark. Yeah. Mike Sheedy, how are you, Mike? Mike is a good Munster man. England and France, teams are playing together all year round. Irish rugby should do the same things, but someone will have to help out the Irish women's team. Yes, absolutely. True. Very true. Okay. Gentlemen, good points by all there. Another one, a tweet I just read about half an hour before we came on air tonight, and I thought it was very interesting, and I'd be interested to know your thoughts. Matt, I'll come to you first. This wasn't in the points that I sent you for discussion earlier, but I thought it would be worthwhile of a discussion. What?
You sent points?
You haven't been delivered yet. I'm sure DHL or someone else is delivering them for you.
Didn't say it.
They're in the fucking. Yeah, you don't fucking read the messenger. That's why. Anyway, right. So this basically, I can't remember. I think it was Rory O'Connor or someone. Huh? Hearing me fucking tongue. I think it was Rory O'Connor, one of them, put up a tweet. And there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. And what he basically did was he charted talent versus hype. Okay, so these players, they've loads of talent, but they've got feck all hype. I presume that's through social media, newspapers, exposure, etc. Right? And I'll read out the 6 that he mentioned. So great talent, fuck all hype. He says Jack O'Donoghue, Rob Russell, Jack Ainger, Stuart Moore, Ronan Kelleher, which I don't particularly agree with. Sorry, yeah, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 5 players. There you go. Jack O'Donoghue, Rob Russell, Jack Ainger, Stuart Moore, and Ronan Kelleher. Matt, would you agree with that? They've loads of talent, but very little hype.
Well, I'm not too sure about Ronan Kelleher now. I mean, there's a bit of hype around him. He's a good player.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see where he's going. All right, like they're all good players, like Jack O'Donoghue, Jack Ainger, who was a guest on here not so long ago.
Yeah.
Who else did you say? Sorry, Rob Russell. Yeah, look, I suppose there is something in it. You know, all great players, but just the hype is not there. But like, what does he mean exactly by hype? Is it online profile, or is it hype on the pitch? Like, as in, like how
all that? No, I'd say it's social media hype. Yeah. Print newspaper hype.
There's something in it, but you know, fucking Twitter for me is just a cesspit of fucking shite. All the crap is in fucking Twitter, so I wouldn't be reading into everything.
I love Twitter, Matt, for all the rugby info. A lot of things I post, I rob from Twitter, as you all know.
You plagiaristic.
Mike Reedy, those players,
you heard it here first, folks.
Of course. There you go. Well, that's nothing new. I would put my hand up and go, yeah, Grant, so what? Who gives a fuck? Anyway, Mike Reedy, of those players, would you agree with this? I think it was Rory O'Connor now, or it could have been Keane Tracy from the Indo. Jack O'Donoghue, Rob Russell, Jack Ainger, Stuart Moore, and Ronan Kelleher. Loads of talent, very little hype.
I would to a degree. Rob Russell is only a young fella, though, isn't he? I think he's. I mean, in the last two, he was one of the success stories, for honest, in the last two Leinster games, if there was any. But he gave a good account of himself. I would definitely say with Jack O'Donoghue, because I think he has been very well underhyped over the last couple of years, and probably has deserved maybe it's a very difficult position he plays in as regards getting called into the national squad. But Jack Ainger, yeah, he is as good a prop as any of the props around at the moment. He's not doing much wrong. In fact, when he came on for Connacht at the weekend, he changed things for him and played very, very well. So yeah, I thought you were going to say Finn Russell there for fucking a minute. I thought he's going to stick him in, but no.
Fuck off, would you? Fucking Finn Russell. Finn Russell, Mike, you could switch that. He's fucking hiked through the fucking roof and he's got fuck all talent. That's fucking Finn Russell for you. Anyway, go on, Peter Martin. What do you think of those players I mentioned?
Yeah, I think there's a fair shout for a lot of them. It is fair to say that they don't get the recognition that their talent deserves. Like, I think Rob Russell is a fantastic player. He's a very good finisher. There might have been a couple of questions about his how good he was under the high ball or whatever. But I think like every time he's in the team, he scores tries for Leinster. So I would say he has to become. I would say at this point, he'd surely come into contention for, a touring spot to South Africa, perhaps. Ronan Kelleher is stuck in the shadow of Dan Sheehan. That's enough said there, Jack O'Donoghue, well, he's there in the shadow of Peter O'Mahony to an extent, and he's in a very competitive position. I think, yes, he is a massively talented player. There's others around him, I would argue, that are probably a little bit more talented than him, and possibly deserving a bit more recognition. Stuart Moore in Ulster, fantastic young player, kind of slightly forgotten almost, playing fullback and centre. Always seems a very good player, knows what he's doing when he gets the ball, good attacking threat and sound in defence. So broadly speaking, it's I would agree with it.
Yeah. All right. Excuse me. Okay. Good points, gentlemen. I just thought, the other thing, I just thought it was worth mentioning, gentlemen. I just got to throw it out there. I'm not going to go to anyone to comment first, just whatever you want. Tiernan O'Halloran is retiring. I always liked him. I thought he was a good player, a good attacking player, great servant to Connacht rugby. I can't remember how many caps he got for Ireland, but I'd say it's in six figures.
Six, I think, yeah.
Anyone want to throw something?
I'd just say, all I'd like to say is good luck to Honor and happy retirement. He's been a fantastic servant to Connacht rugby mainly, and to Irish rugby in general. Good luck to him, by the way. He owes us nothing. So
absolutely.
Happy retirement and whatever you decide to do.
Yeah, 100%, Mike. Well done.
And pity we don't have Mr. Grennan on to give him an appropriate tribute from a Connacht fan, but he seems to be in a kind of an ever-present bit of a modern-day legend. He's over 260 odd appearances for Connacht. He's there with them a long time. So, fair play to him.
He's the one thing, he always struck me. He was one of these players who was reliable. He rarely made a mistake. He was just fucking reliable. He would perform at any time he wore a Connacht jersey. He'd play and he'd give it all. He was just one of those players that you could trust. I suppose the word I was looking for. You could trust, to have him on your team. Would we agree with that?
It's no coincidence, Peter, that Joe Schmidt captain. He'd be a Joe Schmidt type of player insofar as reliable, solid, possibly not the most spectacular player from an attacking point of view, but the fundamentals would be absolutely rock solid.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, right?
Yeah.
From 2009 to 2024, 215 appearances for Connacht. 2010, 2011, 8 Ireland under 20 caps. 2013, 3 emerging Ireland caps. And then from 2016, 6 Ireland full caps.
He's did a lot.
He's done a lot, and he's been a great servant for Connacht and for Irish rugby, as Mike has already said. And wish him all the best in his retirement. And no doubt he'll be doing something else soon enough, and we'll be seeing him soon. So good luck to him.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. I just wanted to acknowledge that he was retiring. Okay, a couple of comments, gents. Gregor Galway, he says he agrees. Read more. Yeah, well, you would, Gregor, because you're an Ulster man. But yes, no, you're right, Gregor. He's a good player. Catherine Keegan talking about Twitter. It's a good platform for rugby stats, etc. In my opinion. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Catherine. Yeah, absolutely. Danny Brosnan, good players, underrated, but probably better known with their supporters than maybe outside. Yeah, good point, Danny. Yeah. Megan Augusta is laughing. Megan, I presume that's something about Finn Russell you're laughing at, Megan. Gregor Galway, glad James isn't on. He would tell dad jokes. Yes, Gregor, and he'd probably sit there and get a fucking a semi in his pants talking about Tiernan Harlan as well. Let me see.
So much information.
Kev O'Hanlon. Well, there you go. Kev O'Hanlon, the same issue England women was starting to happen in the club game here in the men's less than a decade ago. Megan is just agreeing with me, saying it was. Yeah, there you go. Okay, great stuff. Okay, one player that I mentioned, Peter Martin. Actually, no, Mike Reedy, I'll come to you first on this because it's a Munster question. It's a Munster player. Alex Candelan or whatever way you pronounce his surname. I have been looking at this guy for the past while, and I watched him there against the Lions. Was it the Lions? Or I always get these South African teams. It was the Lions, wasn't it? They were playing. Munster were playing last week.
Nice.
Yeah. He's Mike Alex Candelan. He is some operator. I was looking at his stats. I was looking at him when he was playing when the game was on. 24 tackles out of 24, no missed tackles. This guy is going to be. He has some engine on him. He knows where to be on the pitch. Now, that game against the Lions wasn't a once-off for him. He's done this before. Where Alex Candelan, like it's a matter of time before. Now he's on Andy Farrell's radar, but it's only a matter of time, I think. Now I know he's in a very competitive position, but Jesus Christ, he's some fucking player, Mike, isn't he?
There seems to be an abundance of players though. John Hodnett's another player that's not getting a shout in, and I actually really rate him as a 7. You obviously have Coombs, you have. I don't know who you have. O'Mahony. It's fucking like that's just at Munster. Like there's a long way to go for him to get a shout in at Ireland. Like with all the Leinster players there, and plus you've got a scattering coming from Connacht and Ulster as well. So he's just going to have to keep knocking on the door and see listen. There's no doubt about it. He's a fabulous talent, and Munster over the last 2 games have shown something that we haven't seen in a long time, to be honest. So. Long may it continue. Like for Irish rugby, we need everybody. We need like we've all said for a long time. We need 4 strong provinces. We need everybody to be contributing, and like putting players forward for to contest every position. And that's the way Ireland will be most successful is if we have lots of players competing for each position in the team. But good luck to Alex Candelan. He's definitely been outstanding the last couple of games, particularly in South Africa. So long may it continue for Irish rugby.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's me.
How are you?
On you.
All right. Okay. Peter Martin, Alex Candelan, some player, some man.
Yeah. He's exceptionally consistent in what he does on the pitch and what he brings to the pitch. Like you've already said it, he's a significant engine. Like he has played sevens, I think, for Ireland as well. So he has that hardness about him, that that innate stamina is there. I think the issue might be is just like, where is he going to fit? What position is he going to specialize in? Perhaps because he seems, from what I've seen of him, he's basically filling in basically everywhere in the back row for Munster. Hodness is obviously there. There's, it's a question of like, there's become a little bit of strength and depth in Munster's back row now, and then you've got the likes of Brian Gleeson and Sean Adogbo coming in from the under-20s as well. So Munster seem to be getting fairly well stocked in the back row. So look, it's just a question of like, where will he fit? Is he going to be a 7, or where in the back row does Graham Rowntree or indeed Andy Farrell kind of say, well, look, I think you need to be looking at putting your hand up for that jersey rather than the other one, and we'll see how things go. Like I would say, just I'm going off on a slight tangent. Farrell sees Doris as his second 7 if Van der Fleer is injured. We've seen that on a couple of occasions where Doris is slotted into open side when Josh has gone off. So I think that's where Farrell kind of sees his options for 7. He's just basically rearranging bodies in the back row. There's nobody. He doesn't have specialists as such. I think it's worthwhile. Like, it'll be interesting to see what kind of feedback Farrell is giving these players coming into the summer tour, saying, look, I want you this, I want you doing this, I want you doing that. You need to up your game on this. I needed to see a little bit more of that from you, a little bit less of this, and see what happens.
Yeah. Matt, and any thoughts on this guy, Alex Candell?
Yeah, well, I first noticed him when he was playing under 20s, and he was phenomenal for the under 20s. That time he was playing, I think it was a couple of years ago, whatever it was. Yeah. But I think he was in the Munster setup at the same time, and he must have 50 or 60 odd caps for Munster at this stage, and he's only fucking young. I think he's 24, 23 or 24 or something like that. He's still fucking very young, but he's a very good player and versatile in the back row, as Pete has already said. But as Pete has said, going into the Ireland team, you need to kind of nail down a position rather than having instead of being a Swiss Army knife like poor Kieran Frawley. He just needs to fucking nail down a position now, whether he's a 10 or he's a fullback or whatever. Players like utility backs are never really work within a team because they're not settled enough in a certain player. So I think Pete is spot on there now. He needs to nail down one position and just fucking stick to his guns and stick on that. But I would 100% believe that he's definitely on Andy Farrell's radar, along with a few of the other lads that you've already mentioned, Jack O'Donoghue, Gavin Coombs. That fucking Gavin Coombs, he's like the immovable object. He's just fucking, he's unbelievable player as well. So there's lots of them, but again, lots of competition. And this is where he needs to just bring a load of fucking young lads down to South Africa and let them fucking run riot and see how things go.
Yeah. Now, and also, gentlemen, I just remembered, Matt, you're talking about utility players. Connacht have just signed one. Your man from Bristol Bears, Piers O'Connor. He's a 12 and he's a 15.
Yeah.
That's a podcast. We've still got 14 episodes to go. All right, man.
What the hell is
Sorry,
that?
that was just sun shouting there.
What's going on?
You want to join in?
Did you get broken into, Mike?
No, he just came down the stairs there and
Mike just got robbed.
Fuck me, if they broke into my house, they might leave something instead of fucking taking.
I just say, if they went looking for money, I'd give them a hand. Peter Burke, your Wi-Fi is shit as mine.
We fucking not find any.
Might want to talk to Elsa about.
Oh Christ!
I don't understand. I'm plugged directly into a fucking Wi-Fi box here with nearly full signal. So maybe it's the laptop. I don't know. But it's never been this bad lately, folks. Let me see. Danny Boston. Catherine Keegan says Coombs to tour for South Africa. Maybe. Anyway, just the last one. I have two more quick topics, and then we go into the games that happened. Munster in South Africa. Now, Munster are doing very well. They're 5-for-5 in South Africa if you go back the season before, but they're 4-0 versus South African teams. Peter Martin, I'll come to you first. They're 4-0 versus South African teams, but they are 0-for-4 against Irish teams. What the fuck is going on with that? I mean, are they just turning up when they go to South Africa, or what? Like, it's basically the same teams that are playing in South Africa that are playing the Irish teams.
Yeah, I'm sure Graham Rowntree is probably scratching his head and tearing his hair out, saying, "How come we can be as good as we are on tour, and we're not doing it against the other teams?" The other thing as well is that obviously Munster have great muscle memory. After winning the URC down, that was the ultimate smash and grab performance. Winning the URC in South Africa against a South African team, it was just a phenomenal result, and it shouldn't be forgotten. The significance of that result, because that was about as much as about bloody mindedness and mental strength as it was no mean feat of skill, and guile from the team. So look, I'm sure there's something small there that clearly Munster like playing South African teams, and it suits the style of play that Munster play. There's obviously small little tweaks, wherever the case may be. It suits Munster. They're able to. It brings the best out of them. The style of play, the rugby that South African play, it brings the best out of them, and they win.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Pete. Mike Reedy, you being a Munster man, what do you think is going on here? Win easily, win in South Africa.
Seems they love altitude. I think we should fucking build a stadium at the top of fucking Carrauntoohil and Batten can play there. they seem to like altitude. I mean, they've gone away to South Africa. Let's be honest, lads. They are two phenomenal fucking performances, along with the results. They got the results to go with them, plus the Stormers last year, and twice the Stormers last year, in fact. Now, and how can you explain then they come back to play in fucking Thomond Park and play like a sack of shite, and can't get a result against fucking anybody? But do you know what? Maybe their season has turned now. Maybe their season, because it happened last year as well. At the business end of the season, they seemed to get their act together and got the results together. They got a away result in Glasgow, obviously at the Viva or Lansdowne Road, and then went away to South Africa and won the last three away games. So they don't like playing at home. They're fucking. They mustn't like playing in front of too much of their own support or something. I don't know. I hope it continues. I hope it continues. And I don't know who they have as a Connacht this weekend, or Ulster. It's either Ulster or Connacht.
No, it's that they have a week off. That there's nothing on this.
Oh, that week
weekend.
off for the High Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Matt, any thoughts on this? Munster can win away in South Africa, but they can't win at home.
I don't think there's anything really in it other than they just played fucking better down in South Africa. It's not that they're playing shit here or they're playing better down there. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's. I don't fucking know, to be honest with you. I really don't. Fair fucking play to them for going down to South Africa and having all them wins on tour. It's not an easy place to go, and with the South African teams, they don't want to lose any game, and the fact that Munster were able to beat them all down there, even in altitude, is no mean feat. Do you know what I mean? So fucking fair play to them.
Yeah, okay. Catherine Keegan says, Munster, you have to look at the squad they brought to South Africa in recent weeks. It's pretty much their first 23. Okay.
That's fair.
James Grennan, how are you, James? James Grennan says, I didn't think there was a Connacht next weekend, Mike. Is there games
Next
on
weekend.
next weekend?
Not yeah, but not this weekend. Not this weekend coming, but
sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, they're playing in the Champions Cup, aren't they? Or the
All right, okay, yeah, okay.
Challenge Cup. Already out.
no, we're all over that. There's only
All
Leinster.
right, yeah. They're all the fucking Connacht are shite. Anyway, Mike Reedy, Munster teams have winning over in South Africa. I just wanted to say that to annoy James Grennan. Munster teams have winning over in South Africa teams over the years. The last two games, noting on the weekend, the URC Europe Championships on the weekend. Okay, thanks, Mike. All right, brilliant. Thanks for that. Oh, and I just while I'm thinking about this, I just, again, this is another one I just showed out to you. I was listening to James Tracy. He was on Off the Ball. It was a clip I was watching on Twitter. He was asked about the Leinster performance down in South Africa. And he was basically saying, he says, when the lads go into training on a Monday or Tuesday, they're into two groups. The B, basically the B team and the A team. That they're talking about, and he said that has to play on the players' minds. It's more in your head when you go down to a place like South Africa, and you look around at the players that you're traveling with and the team sheets and the team selection, and you're going, yeah, this is the B team, this is the C team that I'm on. Is this all I'm worth? And that's the point he was making, was it gets into your head, and you're just. It just doesn't happen for you because you're not there mentally to compete. Peter Martin, any thoughts on what James Tracy said?
I'd say there's certainly something to it. It's just there probably needs to be a little bit better, more. I'm actually surprised that that is the case. To be honest,
I'm shocked by it.
There's basically, when the lads. When they all rock up on a Monday and a Tuesday in UCD or wherever they're training, that basically some lads turn left at the dressing room doors, other lads turn right, and they end up with different groups. I wouldn't have thought that would have been the case. I would have thought that basically there's 40 players training together. They all split up into small groups to do patterns and skills and whatever the stuff they do, and then they come together only then to do what they do. I wouldn't have thought that, but look, James is obviously he's only out the gate from playing with that group, so he knows. I just think it has to play a part. Much in all that there's, I suppose, a certain amount of window dressing, saying, "Oh look, they're all one squad, and you all turn up, and the lads who are in South Africa will be sitting in Croke Park behind the subs bench and all this, cheering them on and." Being the 24th to the 40th man, all that kind of palaver. It has to basically say, well, when they look at the back of their season, they look at the level of the opposition they've played against and the minutes they played, and says they know themselves where they are in the coach's thinking as regards if they're playing against, no offense to Italian teams, but like if they're playing Zebre and Benetton more regularly than they are playing your La Rochelle and your Racing and your English teams, you know where you are in the pecking order. But look, it'll be interesting to see, if there's a change in mindset. I do think, as regards, some people are saying, like I was watching that Leinster game against Stormers, and Jesus, there's definitely. I think there's definitely a case that some of those Leinster players may not be pulling on a blue jersey again. You could smell them; they were that bad, and that was even after the spoofer Libok fluffed his opening kick. The last time I saw that was last Sunday when I was refereeing an under-12s match in the Sea Point. Blitz. You know what I mean? You just don't expect to see that, from the off. But there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Mike Reedy, any thoughts on this? We won't spend too much longer on this. The mentality issue of.
I'm shocked to hear that's the case, by the way. And I thought personally, I think if it is, it's fucking wrong. I mean, when guys are training, when they come into training, everybody should be on an even keel and at least have a fucking chance. Because what message are you sending out to the guys in the so-called B squad? There shouldn't be a B squad. There should be one squad. This is my personal opinion. I'm not qualified to maybe make those judgments. But however, how are you sending out the right message to a guy that you have any chance of ever making the fucking team? Basically, if you're saying you go that way and you go that way, everybody should go the one way and all train together. And the guys that are showing the most in that training session, then are the guys that get picked. That's the only way. I mean, Leinster couldn't possibly be doing that. I can't believe they've done that. Yeah. I honestly can't. I above all teams, because they're the team with the most success.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, Mike. I'm just paraphrasing what Tracy said. That's all.
He's a recently retired player. He must know. And if that's the case, that's the case. I'm not going to just say it's not the case, but I'm shocked if it is. But
I don't know. Okay, Matt Boland, any final thoughts on this, Matt?
Yeah, that's a load of bollocks. An absolute load of bollocks. Like, if you're going training and you know you're being shuffled off going, okay, you're on the B side, why would you bother fucking going train? Why would you put your fucking body on the line to try and get onto a team, and then you're not going to even not even to get into the day team 23? You know, you're out of that straight away. Why would you bother? Why would you fucking bother? I don't get that at all. I think that's unfair. You want to be giving your players the mindset to go, right, well, I need to do the best in training that I might be able to get into this team and put pressure on the lads. And if they don't do well in training, then I'll be put in because I'm doing well and I'm putting the shift in. That's what it's all about. That's, to me, that's the biggest load of fucking bollocks ever. And I hope it's not happening. I really do.
Right. Okay. Yeah, as I think we all do. Yes, absolutely. Now, okay, gentlemen, we'll leave that there. Now, the games that happened last weekend, we are fast approaching the hour mark. Jesus Christ, time flies when you're having fun. We will take the games in the order that they happened. Matt, I'll come back to you first on this. We had Ulster getting the better of Benetton. Ulster 38, Benetton 34. That was a very important win for Ulster. Did you see the game or any of it? Or
I didn't see that one, no.
Right.
Okay. Mike Reedy, did you see any of this?
I did. I saw the game. It was a great result for Ulster and a great performance. Best performance they've put in a long time. They got a lucky result last weekend, but at least they backed it up with an absolutely proper performance. And Mike Lowry has turned his game around again, which is really pleasing to see. Balakoon. Now, it's absolutely astounding me that there's question mark over Richie Murphy's position, like as remaining as the head coach of Ulster and bringing in some other fucking mercenary. Sorry, but
knew that was coming.
They've got.
You had to fucking get it in, didn't you? You had to get it in.
Mike could have hired you. You'd be mercenary as well, Mike.
Oh, I would be, yeah. But he's turned Ulster around in a few short weeks, really and truly. He has, because they were absolutely dreadful prior to. Now, it took him a couple of games to get, but he seems to have. Let's see how they finish out the season. But they were very, very good. They were accurate. They were efficient. They were even Stockdale had a decent game. Now,
yeah, all right. Calm down.
Really pleased for him.
All right, great, brilliant. Okay, fantastic. All right, Peter Martin. Ulster v Benetton. Ulster needed to win that.
Yeah, I didn't see a minute of it. But like just echoing what Matt what Mike said, it's a great performance. They needed it, Ulster needed it, and like that, it's just interesting to see that there's speculation over Murphy's position, if he's going to be given an extended contract as Ulster coach. I think perhaps it's the case that they want to keep Murphy for the under-20s and they're keeping him for it's that's what they want him for, rather than giving him his head and say, off you go and coach that province. Time will tell.
If that's the case, that's fair enough. But
yeah, true. Okay, Peter, back to you. The Irish women did us really, really proud, qualifying for the Rugby World Cup next year and finishing third in the Six Nations. They beat Scotland 15 points to 12 up in Ravenhill. Did you see that?
I saw a few bits of it, particularly around early in the game. Scotland had just scored their opening try off that maul, and then they lost a player to a bad injury. So look, the only thing I can say is that the Irish girls showed some resilience to come back. They're starting to trust their patterns, each other, their systems. They're trusting the coaching staff. They got the win. Okay, it wasn't perfect. It won't be for some time, but they're trying their hearts out. They're doing all the right things. They had a great crowd supporting them, and it's another good news story. It's a feel good story from last weekend for the girls, and well done to them.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, yep, good point, Pete. Yeah, Mike Reedy, did you see that game?
I saw some of it. Yes, I tell you, I'm really, really pleased for him, because to come on the back of an absolute tanking from in Twickenham, like to turn that around in the space of a week is phenomenal, really. And it was backs to the wall against Scotland in some of that game, and they stuck with it. By the way, they stuck with the game plan, and they played some good rugby, so they did. And fair play. So I'm really, really pleased for them again, and they've qualified for the World Cup. Fantastic. The Irish women can only go in one direction now, because we've been down at the fucking bottom and now we're rising. It's as simple as that. That's the way I see it, anyway.
Yeah, I was. No, you're right. I agree with you, Mike, and I agree with you, Pete. I was absolutely fucking delighted for them. I really was. Matt Boland, the Irish women qualifying for the World Cup, beating Scotland by 3 points. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, I saw bits of it. It was on in the background, but yeah, look, hats off to the girls. After, as Mike said, after coming off a heavy fucking defeat against England, to turn around in a week, put that to one side and go out and have a fucking good performance and get a win that inevitably got them fucking qualified for the World Cup is something to be seriously proud of, and it's only going to get better for the girls. If you look at the Six Nations last year and how they did the Six Nations last year, I think they scored 2 tries in the whole bloody tournament, and they've fucking done super well this year. Yeah. So absolutely fucking fair play to the girls.
Yeah. Okay. Just a comment there by our colleague and fellow admin, James Grennan. I had it up on the screen there for a bit, but I just got rid of it there. I was talking when I was slagging off Connacht. He said, "Don't make me log in and tear you a new one," Peter Burke. Thanks, James Grennan. Well, you see, you're not here, so we can slag it. So, get over it. Yeah. All right. So,
well, yeah. I mean, you're only speaking the truth.
That's you sorted.
Your shit together.
Revenge of the more shitty dad jokes.
I'd log off.
Yeah, well, there you go. No, fuck here. Right, lads, we're 3 minutes. We're 3 minutes over the hour. We might even break our. I know he's watching because he just sent that in. Okay, good man, James. We miss you. Okay, Mike Reedy, you are the Munster man. I'll ask you first about this. The lines were Lions 13, Munster 33. This was to bring Munster's winning streak to 4 games this season, 5 in total. What did you think of that game?
I thought they were outstanding to a man again, 2 weeks in a row, and fair play. I'm really, really pleased for the lads. They've gone and done something nobody expected them to do. I don't even think they could, in their wildest dreams, think they're going to South Africa and want to win two games of altitude. And they've done it with style as well. They won 2 bonus point wins. It's incredible, really. And fair play to them. But really, really pleased for them. Some really good individual performances, but it's the whole team. It was a proper team performance on both occasions as well. So I wouldn't say there was one bad. In fact, I would say over the 2 games, the player that least impressed me in both games was Peter O'Mahony. and he went off in both games. But you know something, he's there doing his shift, by the way, and keeping things on an even keel as well. It's a very professional performance, was because Munster went into that game and didn't chase the dream right at the beginning. They took their fucking points on the scoreboard, 3 penalties in a row, and the Lions were playing catch up right from the beginning. So it was a brilliant performance. They took their points. Crowley's playing exceptionally well again. So, and Conor Murray played very, very well as well. Honest to God, it was a great performance. Really, really impressed.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, Mike. Peter Martin, did you see that game?
I didn't, but just to echo what Mike has said, Munster are doing it again against South African teams, and they're timing their run well. It's the business end of the season, and it makes for an interesting run in.
It certainly does. Matt, did you see that game?
No, didn't see that game order.
All right. Matt, back to you. Stormers absolutely annihilating Leinster. Stormers 42, Leinster 12. Did you see that?
I did watch that. It's the only game I watched at the weekend, and I shouldn't have bothered me ears. I should have watched fucking Connacht and Bennett, and that sounded like the game of the weekend. 2 shy teams going at it. There was bound to be a good one.
But also we're playing Benetton, so it wasn't.
Oh, sorry, Ulster and Benetton. Yeah, that's
the the Dragons.
Well, I wouldn't have watched that anyway.
Yeah.
No. Look, I didn't.
Fair enough. Okay.
I did watch it. I wanted to poke my eyes out with a rusty spoon. Being honest with you. So.
Yeah. Likewise, Matt. Likewise. Okay, Mike Reedy, did you see that game?
Bitterly disappointed with Leinster again. I mean, even taking all sorts of things into account. But I echo what Peter said earlier. There are some players that played in that game that must be worried about their future as a rugby player, because, I mean, there's young Foley at scrum half had a really, really poor game. I don't like picking out individual players, so it's probably not fair. And I really don't think one Leinster player could put his hand up and say, I did okay, I did 100% in that game. And that's a fucking concern. Lads, regardless of the opposition or how, I mean, this Leinster squad, we've all thought they are the real deal. They have fucking an abundance of players coming through, but it doesn't look that way going on those couple of performances. And it's not just the result; it's how lacking in pace. I mean, teams are scoring tries from their own half. That fucking, what's the guy's name? I think he might even be English. They scored a try from under his own post. What's his name? Loader. That's a Ben Loader. And like, he scored a
Loader.
He ran by players as if they weren't there, you know, and he was getting further away by the time he got to the fucking goalpost. But,
yeah, all right, Mike. Yeah, all right, okay, all right,
stuck it into you. Fucking get it right up,
Mike. Thanks. Right, go on, Peter Martin. Give us right. Go on, Peter Martin. Briefly, because we're running out of time, and we got the games coming up to discuss.
It was my birthday on Saturday, and I was very disappointed with the birthday present that Leinster gave me. The smell that was coming from the steak I was cooking, the barbecue, was more enjoyable than the smell that was coming from the TV screen watching Leinster play, and that's all I'll say.
Your shite bags, you and Boland, by the way, you won't even fucking support
your job. Pete, back to you briefly.
No, I'll support them all the way. I watched the game. Every fucking moment of the game, I'll just tell them when they're showing.
Yeah, all right.
He's having a hernia.
Really, enough idea for the moment. Okay, Peter Martin. Dragons 27, Connacht 34. Good win for Connacht. James Grennan, it was a good win. Okay, Grant, you stop slagging me. Peter Martin, Dragons v Connacht. Connacht winning that 34-27.
Yeah, didn't see it. They won. Move on.
Interesting. Grand job. Okay, perfect. Mike Reedy, Dragons v Connacht. Connacht beating Dragons 34-27.
What a game, by the way. A good, evenly contested game. It shouldn't have been. I mean, Connacht started off well and went fucking ahead, and then did an ulcer special, allowed fucking the Dragons into the game, and it was 27-all. And then Connacht got a winning try. It was a fucking great. It was a great game, and well done, Connacht again. I'm really pleased for them as well. But
brilliant. Thanks very much, Mike. Thanks a million. Matt Boland, what did you think of that game?
Yeah, I did actually watch that game, and it was entertaining. As annoying as as I'm saying it to myself, it was a good game to watch. Fair play to Connacht. Next.
And you know, we've had a very unusual
just a couple of comments
over the last 2 weekends. Fucking 3 Irish provinces won, and Leinster.
Yeah, that's great, Mike. Thanks very much. Mike, would you shut the fuck up? Would you stop it? Will you? Mike Sheedy watched Northampton last weekend. England pool. They won. These are a danger team of young guns, but the last England team was in GA groups. They lost. Northampton can't call it. It should be a great game. The weekend, Europe. Yeah, thanks. Okay, James Grennan.
If it's a dad joke, don't read it out.
Yeah, show. No,
Next.
It's not a dad joke. James Grennan says next weekend we have the Connacht under 13 plate. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, thanks, James.
Next.
Okay, now next weekend we are on. Well, yeah, next. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Peter Martin, coming to you first. Semi-final of the Heineken Cup. We have Leinster entertaining Northampton Saints in Croke Park. A sellout. Peter Martin, how do you see this going?
Well, we're heavy favourites by 14 points. The last I saw, the bookies were saying about us. Yeah, look, Northampton are obviously a serious outfit. Let's make that very clear. Like they're leading the Gallagher Premiership. Whatever you think about the competition, they're still on top of it. They're the best of it. I actually saw a bit of Northampton playing Quins last weekend, and it was a absolute cracker of a game. Ding dong the whole way from one end to the other. If you were a neutral rugby fan, you would have got your money's worth watching it, for sure. Plenty of skill and a bit of drama throughout the game. Look, I think it'll come down to like Leinster definitely. There's no question we want that fifth star, and I think the overall pedigree, like we've got that, we've just got that bit better as regards pedigree, the profile of player. We're healthy from an injury perspective as well. Might be a little bit of a doubt about Hugo Keenan, but everyone else is pretty much fighting fit. I've got it from what I've read. Northampton, I believe will be missing Lewis Ludlam, and they're missing someone else as well. I forget, it escapes me. But they've I think where we're going, it's going to be a heck of a game. But I definitely would fancy us to take it by 10-15 points.
Okay. Thanks, Pete. Mike Reedy, what do you reckon about this game?
I'll be honest with you, prior to, and I know it's totally different teams and everything, but prior to the two teams going to South Africa and playing those two games, momentum is a great thing, by the way, in sport. And I just hope that they're not undercooked now, because they haven't played, and they won't have played for 3 weeks, none of those players. So is there any danger at all? Like, I mean, if Leinster go out and play as well as they can play, they'll win the game. It's as simple as that. I don't know about whatever the points difference will be, and I don't care. If you win by 1 point, that's good enough. But I just really, really hope that they are fucking up for this now, and that there's no fallout from the results in South Africa. I think the balls haven't fallen into place well for Ulster. Haven't had to go and play in South Africa. Like if they had local games the last couple of weekends, I think they might be, you know, might have been able to risk a couple of players playing, but they're going to have to turn up. Make no mistake about it. Northampton are a proper good side and a good test side, and they're going to fucking come and give it everything. But Croke Park, they are a bit apprehensive about playing in Croke Park for starters. And fucking Leinster have to turn up, by the way, and do the business. And I really hope they do. If they need it, Irish rugby needs them to do it. So Leinster, okay. If they play as well as they can play, they'll win. It's as simple as that.
Okay, Matt. To you now. It's I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but I don't think. I could be proved wrong on this, but I don't think any of the players that went to South Africa will be in the squad for Saturday.
No.
Anyway, how do you think the game's going to go?
Yeah, look, I mean, Northampton are a good outfit at this moment in time. As Pete was saying, Lewis Ludlam, who's their captain, is injured and he's out, so that's a massive blow for them. The other player now, Courtney Laws, he's kind of in the twilight of his career, but he's actually been playing outstanding rugby the last fucking couple of months. So I think if they keep him quiet, you know, they've got a good squad. They really have. There's Alex Mitchell, who is the England scrum half, George Furbank. There's a few other names there. Finn Smith, I see his name popping up as well. Fly half, doing well. Tommy Freeman. There's loads of players. Do I think Leinster can do it? Yeah, of course they can. They just need to be on their game. I can't see a massive win. I think it's going to be close enough. I reckon maybe 7-10 points to Leinster, hopefully. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great occasion. I haven't been in Croke Park since France played in Ireland back in 14 years ago, so it'll be interesting to see rugby again in Croke Park.
And do you know what? Thanks, Matt. Do you know what I fucking fucked up on?
What?
Oh, jeez.
You didn't fucking predict that, did you?
Pass. The fella who looks after. No. The IRFU don't issue press passes for this. It's all done through the EPCR in Lausanne in Switzerland, which I found out, which a man, my contact in the IRFU, who I deal with for the press pass, told me, but he told me on Monday. Bookface here didn't bother to apply for the press pass till fucking yesterday to a very nice gentleman called Mark Jones in the EPCR headquarters in Switzerland. And he came back to me and he said, basically, he said, "Are you having a fucking laugh?" Basically, if I want to put his email back to me in context. And I said, no, sure, I got press passes before. I said, sure, it closed last Friday. You're 4 days too late. I said, all right, okay. So I rang your man at the IRFU and I said, thanks for the heads up, Ryan. Sound. He goes, I thought you would have known being a journalist. I said, I'm not a fucking journalist. I'll know for the future anyway. Anyway, a quick one, lads. A quick one. A 5-6 second soundbite. Matt Boland. The other semi-final, Toulouse v Quins. How do you see that? Go for it, quick.
Toulouse.
Right, grand job, Mike.
In France, Toulouse.
Right, Pete.
Toulouse.
Right, okay, fair enough. Right, gentlemen, we're way over time as always. Megan Augusta agrees. Megan Augusta says Toulouse as well. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. Thanks for your opinions, your chats, your posts, and all this. I hope our bypassing of Facebook protocols for live streaming worked. It seems to have done. Matt Boland, thank you. Mike Reedy, as always, thank you. Peter Martin, again.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks, gents. And we will do it all again next week. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thanks again. Chat. Talk to you soon.
Lads.
Cheers.
Good evening, folks.